Pathfic Lecture 209, Next Steps on the Path. I'm ending with the section that describes a meditation. Be still and know. The phrase quoted in the lecture is from Psalms, and the full phrase is, "Be still and know that I am God, that I am with you." My invitation would be to play with this phrase, to find different aspects of the truth in it. Be still and know, because you already know. There is a divine spark in you, and that divine spark has a knowing. If you have the knowing, the question becomes, well, why can't I just hear it? And that is the process of an incarnation, why we're here as human beings. So we already know that the real self knows, that fuels our self-doubt. The ego, the mind consciousness, is aware of a deeper aspect of ourselves and thinks that it will show it up, that it will defeat it, that it will take over, becomes a us versus them, me versus you, a fight, instead of realizing that the goal is an integration of the ego, mind consciousness, and the divine. So why is it separated in the first place? And the Pathworks answer is it's separated because of our resistance. That is the premise for human life on this planet, is that if it was easy, if it was simple, if it was just a matter of sitting in a schoolroom and learning multiplication tables, you'd already know all this stuff. You would know the truth. You would know yourself. You would know everything. The premise is that as part of the cosmic fall and shift and division between forces, that we hold resistance to truth. Now, the resistance is a righteousness that allows us to hold on to it with great force because we choose to believe that we are right. And if we're right, somebody else is wrong. We're embracing duality. The whole planet Earth is an exercise in duality. So the ego is in ignorance of the resistance and just believes in the urge to win, to conquer, to be right. And the truth is that if the ego mind consciousness was aware of the life plan, it would sabotage it. Why? Resistance is based on wanting something else, not being willing to surrender, feeling that surrender is submission. So I'm constantly encouraging people to think of themselves as 2-year-olds. It is important for the 2-year-old to throw their oatmeal across the room. That's part of their developmental cycle. It is part of the parent's job, the real self, the divine within, to find a way to communicate, to help the child grow out of the phase of my way or nothing, my way or your way, and come into an understanding of mutuality, where we're all trying to get to the same place and there's compromise and there's unpleasantness in life. So simply knowing is not enough to dissolve the resistance. And part of the resistance is that we have attached to a false belief, misconception, or distortion, and we're invested in it. That's how we're going to save ourselves. That's how we're going to prove our value, is by showing something new to the universe. So be still and know. What do we know? That is unique to each individual. And we have some intolerance of that. The truth should be the truth and everybody should know it. Not everybody is on the same developmental phase. Not everyone is learning the precise same lesson. Not everyone is ready to move at a certain pace. And so it's unique to each individual because we have to really get it on our own terms, or we will not dissolve our resistance. The need is to honor truth as we encounter it, to feel it, to sense it, to know it, and eventually to get better at discerning and accepting the different levels that people are in, honoring ourselves and honoring the other without having to meet them where they are all the time, without having to be as good as, without having to be superior to. When we honor ourselves, that's our lesson. That's where we need to be. Eventually, people always ask, how do I do that? So many ways. Each lecture has suggestions. This lecture has the suggestion for meditation, for sitting with be still and know, for the techniques. I tend to pull them out of the lectures and turn them into exercises because they can seem quite subtle. They're there. It's an interesting exercise for you to consider, to go through a lecture and pull out the suggestions, exercises, techniques to attempt to delineate them from the text. They're mixed in, not always easy to find. One of the most powerful techniques that I have found is to find the grain of truth, meaning there's a spark of divine truth in everything, and it justifies a lot of other stuff. So if someone has, I think of it like a snowball with a stone in the center, only this time it's truth in the center. The piece of truth in the center justifies the rest of the device. It's how we see it, understand it, feel it, and so forth. And we can lose track of what the grain of truth is. So we believe the snowball, the whatever it is the truth. It's all or nothing. And if we lose it, it's all or nothing. So we become invested in it rather than learning to discern. Discernment is a skill. Kids are not great at discerning necessarily. They like things black and white and simple. Adults are the same. We gravitate towards easy answers, simplistic answers. We gravitate towards us versus them. And so the spiritual learning is to learn self-control over this, to realize that that's not the answer. The answer is deeper, more complicated, and might take a while to truly find and honor. And another tool is to honor positive intention. The guide has a phrase, I'll get this wrong, but I'm going to try. The guide has a phrase, you can do the wrong thing for the right reason, and spirit sees your right reason, your right impulse, not the mistake you make. And I think of this as when I was in school and they introduced the idea that they would grade your math problems not on getting the right answer, but in understanding the principles behind the math. Well, I was the kind of person who would make careless or foolish small errors. So my answer wouldn't be right, but I had gone through the steps. I understood the principle. I understood what I was trying to do. I just divided wrong or put the wrong number down. So to honor the positive intention and forgive the imperfection of how it was enacted. I find that when others honor the positive intent of someone, no matter how small it is, that they appreciate that. There's less fight. There's less me or you, us or them, all or nothing. We want to be seen and heard, and we do have positive intent. And another is to accept imperfection as the human state, to realize I'm not going to get this right. No matter how long I live, I will not get everything right. That this is a workshop, and there isn't a test at the end that I can get 100 on and say I'm done. It's a spiritual development process. It's way more complicated than a test or a subject in school. So how find the grain of truth, honor the positive intention, accept imperfection, and in this lecture, spend some time being still and accessing your inner knowing. Knowing that you are not alone, knowing of spirit, knowing of your unique spiritual, divine spark. Thanks for taking a look at this lecture or watching the video. I hope you read it. Thanks.